Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you all in a good condition. My name is Rizky Elinda Sari. Today, me and my team will share a lessons for you all. The first lesson is about participial phrases. Have you heard about participial phrases before? Participial phrase is a word group that has participle along with any word that modify it or complete its meaning. A participle is a verb from that acts as an adjective in sentence. Present participle, which always end with ing, are used to reduce adjective clause contain active verb. Past participle, which end with ed, d, t, en, or n, are used to reduce adjective clause with passive verb. The example of participial phrase: climbing the tree, the monkey disappeared into the branches. In this sentence, climbing the tree is a participial phrase. Another example: did you check out video made by my sister? Made by my sister is a participial phrase starting with past participle made and giving information about the known video. This is working as adjective in the sentence. And another example: we watched the storm blowing westward. The participial phrase blowing westward modifies the noun storm, and the adverb westward modifies the present participle blowing. Participial phrase may precede or follow the noun they modify. However, they should be placed as close as possible to a modified word. Otherwise, the phrase may appear to modify another word, and the sentence may not make sense. Example: misplaced participial phrase. The scout spotted the deer and her fawns gathering wood for a campfire. This sentence suggests that the deer and her fawn gathering wood. Here is an improved version for the sentence before. Gathering wood for a campfire, the scout spotted the deer and her fawns. Participial phrase can come in the beginning of a sentence, in the middle of sentence, and also in the end of sentence. When it comes in the beginning of sentence, there are two things that we need to keep in our mind. The first, separate the participial phrase in the rest of the sentence using comma. And the second, always place the noun, the participial phrase modify close to it. If you don't do it, it will be a mistake known as misplaced modify. Guys, another thing that you have to remember, if that before participle that is to be like are, is, that is not participial phrase, but a verb. Well, everyone, that's all about participial phrase. Let's move to another lessons about independent clauses with my friend Reza. Keep watching.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Mohammad Reza Fahalafi. I will tell our study matter about independent clause. First, an independent clause is a clause that can stand alone as a sentence, but a dependent clause is one that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. Remember that a clause has a subject and a verb. And next, what is the link between an independent clause and a dependent clause? An independent clause is linked to a dependent clause with a subordinating conjunction. Commands on or after, though, as, because, before, even if, even though, if, provided, rather than, since, so that, then, though, unless, until, whether, while, how, that, what, when, and where, or a relative pronoun, common, once, or which, who, whom, whose, why, whoever, and whosever. Next, dependent clauses inside independent clauses, and there are three key points. First, an and linking two independent clauses is preceded by a comma, and this applies to but and or to. Second, if you'd happily put your relative clause, which will usually start with which or who in brackets or deleted, then it's non-essential and should be offset with commas. And third, if your adverbial clause is at the front, offset it with a comma. Don't use a comma if it's at the back. Then I will give you some real life examples of dependent and independent clauses. Number 1. The secret of life is honesty. If you can fake that, you've got it made. Groucho Marx. Second, if you've heard the story before, don't stop me because I'd like to hear it again. Groucho Marx. For notice, there is no subject in the independent clause. For the sentences, don't stop me is an order, and the subject you is implied. Example number 3. Go and never darken my doors again. Groucho Marx. The notice, these are both imperatives. The subject you is implied in both. So next, why should we care about independent and dependent clauses? There's only one reason to care about independent and dependent clauses. It is comma placement. Point 1. Use a comma before an and that links to independent clauses. Point 2. Use commas with non-essential dependent clauses that start with who or which or any relative pronoun for that matter. Point 3. Use a comma after an adverbial dependent clause that sits before the independent clause. Don't use a comma before the clause if it follows the independent clause. Let's take a look at the presentation. A simple sentence consists of one clause. For example, my sister is watching TV. A compound sentence consists of two independent clauses joined by coordinating conjunction. For example, the man took a vitamin pill and he drank a glass of orange juice. A complex sentence consists of an independent clause and a dependent clause. Adverb clause, noun clause, adjective clause. For example, the man took a vitamin pill because he had a cold. Independent clause plus adverb clause. Okay, thank you very much. Next.
Okay, let's move to the last lessons. It's about adjective clauses. Mulki will explain about adjective clauses for you all.
Okay, thank you for moderator. Hello everyone. Adjective clause. What is adjective clause? Adjective clause are a way of joining two sentences. In the joining sentence, the adjective clause modifies a noun in another clause of the sentence. In adjective clause, there are some material. Today, we will discussion two parts of adjective clause. That is RVS and RVO. What is RVS and RVO? Okay, RVS. RVS, relative pronoun and subject, is a conjunction that explains or replaces a subject. Three conjunctions of RVS: who, which, and that. Who used to replace a person, which used to replace a non-person, that used to replace a person or non-person. Example, two sentence: we see a man and he is a man. In a both sentence, there is the same noun, man and he. Both non-indescribable person. So we ask conjunction who, and the sentence became we see a man who eat a fish. We see a cat and it ate a fish. In both sentence there is the same noun, cat and it. Both non-indescribable non-person. So we use which conjunction, and the sentence became we see a cat which eat a fish. Okay, that two sentence: we see a cat eat a fish. In both sentences there is the same noun, cat and it, both non-indescribable or non-person. So we use that conjunction, and the sentence became we see a cat that ate a fish. What is RVO? Okay, RVO. RVO, relative pronoun as object, is conjunction that explain or replace an object. Three conjunction of RVO: whom, which, and that. Whom used to replace person, which used to replace a non-person, and that used to replace a person or non-person. Example, two sentence: my mother, she is a man. Second sentence, Cynthia loves him. Man is object in first sentence. Him is object in second sentence. Man is described person, so we use whom conjunction, and the sentence became my mother sees a man whom Cynthia loves. In the sentence, shall not have to object, so him in the sentence is eliminated. Example, two sentence: my mother sees a cat. Cynthia loves it. Cat is object in first sentence. It is object in second sentence. Cat is described non-person, so we use which. conjunction. So the sentence became, my mother says a man which Cynthia loves. My mother says a cat. Cynthia loves it. Cat is object in first sentence. It as object in second sentence. Cat is describe non-person, so we can use that conjunction. So the sentence became, my mother says a man that Cynthia love. So that is simple because that user to replace a person and that user to replace a non-person. Okay, thank you. Moderator, please to continue.
Okay everyone, that's all what we can share for today. If there were mistakes, we are sorry. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.